Netflix is done. They're $10 billion in debt. There's no way they can make money.
Shares are down about 8% so far this year.
They're not going to be able to keep up.
It's not completely clear how this is going to evolve.
Netflix surging to a brand new all-time high today.
Squid Game is the most watched Netflix show ever. It went #1 in over 90 countries.
It's mind-blowing. Squid Game.
It's really become a global phenomenon.
These guys have the globe kind of to themselves.
It literally changed the trajectory of Netflix business and drove their stock to a record high.
In just 3 weeks, the Instagram following of one of the main actors rose from 400,000 to over 16 million.
And white van sales spiked 7,800%.
Damn, Daniel.
That's crazy.
Seems like a lot to me.
Yeah. Now, fair warning, this episode is going to have a lot of spoilers. Like the fact that...
It seems a little aggressive.
To open with a spoiler?
Yeah.
Okay, now is your fair warning to go watch all of Squid Game if you don't want it to be spoiled.
In this episode, we're going to break down our thoughts on Squid Game, why it's so successful, and what creators can learn from it.
We're also going to play our own game in this episode. One of the games that was actually featured on the show, we are going to play here.
This is news to me.
Same consequences as Squid Game. All right, Colin, roll the intro. This show was at least the first time that I experienced a Netflix show like this taking over the global conversation. I mean, I think it's the first time Netflix has experienced it.
100%. So it's an extremely global show for a number of reasons. The first being that it was released subtitled in 31 languages and dubbed in 13 on the exact same day. Netflix alone is available in 190 countries. So it has the ability to reach a massive audience from day one.
The story itself had so much global appeal. I think there's so much to be learned from how Squid Game was structured from a story perspective. Like this show and the narratives in it and the tropes in it, just globally appealing. It's a show about a bunch of people who are in debt in South Korea, and they get invited to a place to play a series of games where the winner at the end of all of these games will win an amount of money that is so large that it would solve all their money problems.
And these are children's games. They're going to play 6 games while they're there. But if you lose a game, you die.
So the stakes are incredibly high, and it is done in a way that I think just captivated a global audience to a scale that we've never seen before.
To start, it was extremely simple. From the locations to the outfits, everything was the most simple version. And I think what happens when you fix all of those elements and make them really simple, the story gets easier to follow.
The players wear this color, the scary triangle men and square men and circle men, the soldiers wear this color, the front man wears this color. Like it was very clear cut. I think not only does the story get easier to follow, but when everything is that simple, when the games are that simple, right? The first game they play is red light, green light.
Green light. Red light.
Everyone knows that game all over the world. And if you don't know it, you can understand it. You run when it's green light, you stop when it's red light. So that ability to put yourself in the position of the character, no matter where you are in the world, that relatability keeps you more engaged. At least I found that when I was watching. I was like, wait, would I be able to stop quick enough to not get shot? You know, like you're thinking that in your head, like how would I act in this game? And I think that's a really important thing for anyone who's telling a story. Basically thinking about like how relatable is this? Could you, even if this is a fantasy, right? Even if this is a fictional world, can you put yourself in the position of this character? Okay, ready for game one?
Sure.
Colin and I each have 10 marbles in our hands. Basically, one of us is going to put a certain amount in our hands and the other person has to guess if it's odd number of marbles or an even number. And when you guess, you wager a certain amount of marbles. So you could wager 5 marbles. So if you guess it right, you win 5 marbles from me. Your goal is to take as many marbles from me as possible. We're going to play this game 3 times during this recording.
Okay, now what you don't know is that by the end of the episode, the person with the least number of marbles will have to eat something disgusting chosen by Chris.
I'm Chris. It's my job to go to the store and find something horrible for the loser to eat.
Odds or evens?
Odd.
What do you have?
Damn.
One thing I saw and I sent to everyone on our team was this meme where the front man was MrBeast's voice.
I bought this entire island. I brought in a bunch of my subscribers and gave them a chance to win tons of money.
I thought it was so funny, and that's actually what pulled me into watching the show. I was like, this clearly relates to our world too. And for someone to be able to draw such a parallel between what MrBeast is doing and what's happening in this Netflix show, I thought that was really interesting. The numbers that Netflix released about their viewership, like Bridgerton had done 82 million views in the first 28 days. It's interesting is like Jimmy is competing on that level a lot of times. Like a lot of his episodes have 100 million views.
It's one of the most successful formats in all of entertainment. You think about The Price is Right, the longest running show on television. MrBeast, the #1 channel on YouTube. Hunger Games, one of the most epic movie franchises.
Money is a very universal stake
that resonates all over the world in every different culture. Like we all are sort of beholden to this system that relies on money.
The two things that this show hinges on are money and death. Those two things are universally understandable. We all, when we're alive, are playing by the rules of money. And it's this game that we all understand.
Like, it is literally and figuratively hanging over our heads.
At all times, yes. And so that is so universally understandable. Like if you talk to anyone in any other country and you talk about making money, you get it. What else is it that makes this so appealing to watch and so engaging? And what Jimmy talks about a lot is retention. And I think what Squid Game did really well was utilize some retention strategies that were just so good at building up tension in our bodies and then releasing that tension.
One tactic that Squid Game used very well was Jenga storytelling. So this is the idea that tension should rise over time. And I think they did a really good job of building tension that continues to rise from episode 1 all the way until the finale. There's more money up for grabs the further the series goes along and the more people that die.
So the stakes are rising.
And another tension point is pain. The more time that goes on, the more painful it will be for one of the players to lose.
Right.
Because they've already invested so much time.
And not only have they invested time, but you're learning more about them. Like, I might butcher some of the names here. Saibiek, she's like the main character. She's one of the last 3. But you learn that she wants the money to save her little brother who's an orphan and needs like a family. And you're like, oh my God.
Stakes just increased.
Gi-young is like this deadbeat, character who's always just wanted validation and wants a connection to his mom and wants a connection to his daughter. Like as time goes on, that stake gets crazy high because you're like, God, I want this guy to have some money. But what's interesting is that him winning money comes at the cost of someone losing their life, or actually 400 some odd people losing their lives. So it's a very complex emotion to feel. The action of having to negotiate that in your mind as these stakes rise builds a lot of tension. Even when Gi-young is playing marbles with the old man, he's tricking him. And you're not sure what you're supposed to feel. It's a complex emotion of, am I happy that he's going to be okay and win because he's our main character? Or am I like really upset with him for tricking this guy? Like, I think that increase of stakes, as well as this release of tension that is emotionally like a roller coaster, where sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're confused, that makes you so engaged in the show.
Yeah, you want to release tension at disproportionate levels because you want everyone on the edge of their seat, totally unaware of what's going to happen next. And a great way to do this is to introduce new narratives to the story. And Squid Game did this really well. You have a scenario where everyone shows up, they think they're playing this game for money.
Everyone here will participate in 6 different games over 6 days. Those who win all 6 games will receive a handsome cash prize.
They find out they're playing this game not only for money, but also for their life. And we think, okay, the only way you die is if you play the game and you get out. It's still terrible, but those are the rules. Then we learn when someone gets murdered that that's another way to lose the game.
Player 271 eliminated.
That was wild because that introduction of that rule creates tons of mayhem. And again, in the viewer's mind, you're like, whoa, you figured that out along with the people in the show. And that I think is really compelling.
They completely flip the switch. And that's really powerful from a retention standpoint when it comes to storytelling.
MrBeast does these narrative changes all the time where it's like, okay, you think that as long as you stay in this circle, you win. What you don't know is the circle's getting smaller. And what you don't know is then you're going to have to stand on one foot. And then what you don't know is that, and like all of a sudden it's like, well, you didn't know what you didn't know, what you didn't know.
So what we're talking about here is keeping viewers on their toes by adding in new narratives. Let's say you're not a creator who's making a game show. If you're a cooking channel, how would you potentially work that into your story? Let's say you're doing a how-to. What would be a secondary narrative?
Try Guys, I think, are a great example where like Try Guys cook without a recipe. That's a great format to introduce unexpected things happening where like the audience knows the recipe or the audience knows how to make it. They don't know. They have to solve it. They're going to throw in different ideas in the middle. There's all the characters, like creating a dynamic where narrative changes can happen just because the characters are in that flow, I think works really well. Like just creating situations for viewers to be
creating situations where there's room for what's not planned. I think travel vlogs have so much room for the unplanned to make the videos great.
And also for even if you do have a show like you and I, where like one of us doesn't know something, or in this setting on this show, both of us don't know something, but the audience knows something.
Think both of us don't know something.
You know? Has this all been orchestrated? Am I meant to lose? Is this what's happening?
This could be good. Oh, that's good. This might be it.
All right.
Nerve-wracking.
Let's play again.
Again. Okay, hold on. I don't know what I did with my marbles.
Colin's lost his marbles.
No, I've got them.
Even. What is it? Is it odd? Oh, it was a big wager. Oh, man.
There's only one more game left.
Oh, that sucks. I really thought I was going to get you on that. Oh, 6 is tough.
Yes.
All right. So let's talk about how does Squid Game impact the future of how creators are going to operate, the future of what we're going to see on YouTube specifically.
Squid Game pushed me to think about what is possible with creators. I've never seen anything dominate a conversation globally in such a short amount of time like Squid Game and have such a ridiculous impact on all types of economies.
I saw Jimmy Fallon licking a honeycomb to get the umbrella out, right? It's like,
and that has a lot to do, right, with the fact that Netflix is in 190 countries, that they have the infrastructure to put out a show in 34 different languages all at once. But if you look at what's happening on YouTube, channels are starting to dub over and subtitle their videos.
Yep. Unilingo, the company that does MrBeast, does Veritasium, I think starting to do Mark Rober as well. They're all launching multiple channels and they're doing it pretty quickly. So when that catches up, does MrBeast's video get translated in 5 different languages and get released on the same day in all of those languages? And does YouTube actually slowly start to roll out, like similar to how you can choose what resolution you're watching it in, can you choose what language you're watching it in? Now all of a sudden channels are going to become way more global. Again, this is a global entertainment industry now. The internet has changed that completely. And you do have to make content that's global. So how did you watch it? Did you watch it with subtitles or did you watch it with English dub?
English dub.
Oh man, me too.
Listen, I can't die. I need to get out of here.
We are totally in the minority and
Really?
we're totally wrong. And I went back and watched one of the episodes with the Korean actors, like their actual emotion, completely different. There is a really good line from, I think it's the creator of the show, that said, if viewers can get over the barrier of a 1-inch subtitle text box, the world of film will open up to them. And I think that's really interesting that now we're starting to open up to more global content. Now we're starting to see it creep into, you know, the social media world with MrBeast going into Spanish.
Voy a pasar 50 horas enterrado vivo en este ataúd.
All these other creators starting to explore dubbing. But you really think about, like, the internet is a global place, so it makes sense that the content would be globally accessible.
It's all about having the maximum potential audience, setting yourself up for that level of success. Like, there are certain topics that we could talk about on this show that we know don't have a huge audience.
Bueno, hasta que doblemos el programa, sí. Claro. Sí, hasta que de repente escuchas a otra persona hablando. No sé si esto funcionará, pero si lo hiciera sería increíble.
Estamos hablando español.
Sí, sí.
The other thing that I was really thinking about over the weekend when I finished Squid Game was that creators are going to start to learn more from traditional media. Like, there's stuff from Hollywood's past and learnings that writers have been using for years and years and years that I think if you take the time to learn those things as a creator and study them, you can apply them to your work.
Yeah, a great example of this is a video that we actually shared from the creators of South Park.
We can take these beats, which are basically the beats of your outline, and if the words "and then" belong between those beats, you're f***ed. No. It should be this happens, and therefore this happens. But this happens, therefore this happens.
You see movies that you're just watching, it's like, this happened, and then this happens, and then this happens. That's when you're in a movie just going, what the f am I watching this movie for? Just like, this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. That's not a movie, you know, that's not a story. Like Trey said, it's those two, but, because, therefore.
That is a really important skill to have as a content creator. And I think these worlds are just starting to match from a storytelling perspective, not from a production value perspective, but from a storytelling perspective. You have to compete. You have to be telling a compelling story.
They are starting to follow similar business models, though. If you look at, Netflix is now selling Squid Game merchandise with Walmart, and they're selling merch from some of their other franchises. They are getting into gaming by hiring a head of gaming, and people are saying Squid Game should have an actual video game. That could be a reality for Netflix. So they are diversifying the ways that they make money beyond just direct-to-consumer revenue. And that's something that I think creators have been doing for a long time.
I think the main thing they create, and this is what all storytellers create, is culture. And I think what we're seeing with Netflix is they are like a culture factory. They can create culture. All right. I can't wait any longer. Let's play another round. All or nothing. I'm betting all of my marbles. It's all or nothing. Loser has to eat whatever Chris picked up for us.
Okay, we've got our items. We've got smoked oysters in sriracha chili sauce and just a whole bottle of clam juice. Good luck, gentlemen.
This one's for all the marbles.
Oh man, I can't believe this is a 50-50 chance that I get this wrong. Oh man.
We don't got all day, man. Squid Game comes for everyone. Squid Game waits for no one.
Oh, I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat it.
You don't even know what it is.
I really don't want to eat it. I have a feeling that it's something bad.
Come on.
Even. Yeah! Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No!
I didn't even really know. Wow. What a strange ending. I didn't even know how many marbles I had.
All right. Give it to me.
Oh, this is gross.
Oh my God. Look at the clams. Look at the clams. These stakes were too high. If you guys were in my position, which one would you do?
I would do the clam juice.
All right, everyone. Cheers. Thanks for watching this episode of the Colin and Samir Show. Let us know. Colin, you got to do this, dude.
Subscribe. Oh my God.